like someone like
Wait,
this.
sweetie, you got
Beautiful.
schmutz.
Stop.
I'm just helping you.
come on.
I'm just getting the schmutz off your face.
It's because we love.
Welcome to In Frame Out's Year in Film, where we take stock of 12 months of spectacular cinema and unfortunate rubbish. Having narrowed down the 170 plus 2021 releases we managed to watch this year into our respective best and worst of 2021 lists, there were still plenty of striking successes and calamitous pieces of crud worth talking about. Oh, and for the record, I don't care what year they have listed next to them on IMDb or Letterboxd. Those are the festival, premiere, or production dates. So before we kick off the best and worst movies of 2021, here's a video where we commend and condemn the honourable and dishonourable mentions that just missed the cut. Honourable mentions. As people across the globe are struck down with retrograde amnesia, a middle-aged man must start his life over from scratch. A process that's fumbling, uncomfortable, and deeply introspective, where the simple act of forgetting can give us room to stretch out and grow, whilst leaving behind a nagging absence that demands to be filled. Writer-director Christos Nikou, a one-time protege of both Richard Linklater and Yorgos Lanthimos, uses this novel setup to interrogate and explore what identity means in a fluid world of cultivated and curated public personas. Chad Hartigan's Little Fish, which was also released this year, asks similar questions of an identical premise, but for my money, Apples tackles these existential concerns with a dry, idiosyncratic charm that won't soon fade.
Dreams make good stories, but everything important happens when we're awake.
From the infinite stretches of scorching sand to the explosive shockwaves of galactic war, DUNE has a visual impact of such awesome scale, it can be hard to take it all in. As we're ushered from one exposition-filled monologue to the next, you're never far from a breathtaking stroke of aesthetic perfection. If the world-building brilliance of its design and the grandiose spectacle of its jaw-to-the-floor set-pieces aren't quite matched by the plodding drone of its split-down-the-middle structure, or its all-work, no-play writing, there is more than enough sensory overload here to make up for those shortcomings. See it on the biggest screen you can. There are a great many caveats before I can recommend the preposterously named Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 Thrice Upon a Time. It's the fourth entry in a cinematic series of anime reboots that assumes and demands your intimate understanding of the original show. All the rambling jargon about Nebuchadnezzar keys and angelic spears is borderline impenetrable. The grotesque over-sexualization and emotional simplification of the female characters is despicable, and yet, for fans of this series, there's an undeniable catharsis to this go-for-broke revisionist remix of all that came before. A brain-warping metaphysical potluck that rubs out, rewrites, and restages its own construction as it's still playing out. For all its sins, it's still hard not to call this an overwhelming success. Hell hath no fury like a Danish husband scorned in this marriage of bludgeoning thriller and none more black comedy. Mads Mikkelsen is in exemplary form as a vengeful soldier returning home to find and kill those responsible for the death of his wife. Assisted by a lovable trio of eccentric geeks, Riders of Justice works well as a sneering, violent drama, but truly shines when levity and lament are allowed to seep through the cracks of these broken men. If you liked the off-kilter stylings of In Bruges, this is going to really hit the spot.
Oh, Mom, I can't eat that.
Why not?
I'm vegetarian.
You're killing me.
I've told you it so many times.
You have not eaten a single thing all day.
That's because we just got here.
You look like Gwyneth Paltrow on food stamps.
Oh my God.
And not in a good way.
In Shiva Baby, cringing laughter and terminal awkwardness are amped up to the point of outright horror. With a musical score that's closer to Rosemary's Baby than Bridesmaids, teeth-grinding confrontations, and the deeply claustrophobic use of a single location, Emma Seligman expands her original short film into a feature of such assured discomfort, you'll never know whether to giggle or leap out a window. Brisk, to the bone, and brutally funny, Shiva Baby is an honest, embarrassing tour de farce, and a sign of incredible things to come for everyone involved.
You'll be in the world in some pub, laughing. I will be in a field full of fucking landmines.
So stand very still and smile a lot.
Spencer languishes and luxuriates in the gorgeous trappings of a life brimming with potential, but poisoned by pomp and circumstance. This fable, based on a real-world tragedy, offers a vertical slice of loneliness at the top, with Kubrickian steadicam crawls and Johnny Greenwood's chaotic jazz-inflected score. 3 Days in the Life of Princess Diana take on a purgatorial ambience. Sometimes the dialogue oversteps the mark by straight-up explaining the most obvious points of symbolism, but when Spencer trusts in our collective sympathy for the martyr, it becomes one of the year's most mesmerizing character studies.
All I want is for everyone to fuck off. Having said that, it's been a great pleasure. Au revoir.
Elliptically told and quietly devastating, the father examines dementia from the confused, terrifying perspective of a man succumbing to their condition. Ignore the weirdos getting upset about the Oscars results. Anthony Hopkins is remarkable here as someone trying to rationalise and express his failing thoughts, and he deserved every award he had coming his way. Backed by the irreplaceable Olivia Colman, the unnerving but always conscientious direction of Florian Zeller, and a script of subtle cruelty and fleeting grace, The Father is one of the year's few mainstream award darlings that deserves all the hype.
Stand up and face me!
An elegiac march through the trials and tropes of a hero's journey, The Green Knight continues David Lowery's streak of lyrical heights and breathtaking sights, whilst maintaining the A24 sensibility that has kept him at the forefront of the upmarket art house. Dev Patel has never been better than his turn as a stoic but insecure knight, wading through the haze of masculinity and patriarchal expectations, where every looming axe and suspiciously sticky belt can drive a once noble man to courage or cowardice. If you can parse through the enigmatic gloom and Spartan storytelling, you'll find the stuff of legends.
How about we put our phones down and we can make 10 seconds of unobstructed family eye contact? No, you're allowed to blink, it's just eye contact.
When a movie comes along that's just front to back lovable, cuddle it close and don't let it go. The Mitchells vs. the Machines is one such work of jubilant, riotous fun. Packed with more heart than 10 Tiny Tims, and enough zany, colourful set pieces to satiate the most hyperactive of audiences, it's all just such a pedal to the metal pleasure to watch. Oh, and for anyone out there who found themselves as the creative, arty kid in a family that cares deeply but doesn't quite get it, there's a sweetness at the centre of all this that may well ruin you.
I had a shitty childhood and I deserve this and I deserve a lot more! And if you don't fucking understand that, then you're stupider than I think you are!
Fuck away from me, you pig, right now.
Thatcher's Britain and Reagan's America battle it out for the souls of a middle-class family in this fake-it-till-you-make-it parable. Late-stage capitalism offers the shiny carrot, only to lunge with the rusty bayonet time and again. Jude Law hasn't felt this vital as a performer in years, as a man blinded by ambition and obsessed with status, and Carrie Coon once again proves that she's fantastic in everything. The Nest is Sean Durkin's first feature in 10 years. Here's hoping we don't have to wait another decade for round 3. Dishonourable mentions.
All I'm saying is, that's kind of a douche move.
You can't call a dead man a douche.
Why not?
Because it's insensitive.
Morning, ma'am.
Netflix has taken a stab at many a soapy, trash-flavoured thriller of late, but Aftermath takes the cake as the mightiest slab of what the fuck nonsense they put out in 2021. It's more like a watchmojo top 10 spooky house cliches video, marred in a handful of so bad they had to be taking the piss narrative left turns that lead into a final twist so heinously moronic I nearly hyperventilated. If you want a soap opera on roller skates careening through every Blumhouse bummer you've ever seen, Aftermath might just be the salt for your wound.
I have to rescue my wife and unborn child. If that baby-eating bastard is in there...
Oh my god, he threatened to eat your unborn baby?
Oh, no. I mean, not literally, but look, he's very evil, Edison. I mean, come on.
Imagine the cancerous non-comedy stylings of A Million Ways to Die in the West were penned by the scribe of Wonder Woman 1984, because that's basically what America the Motion Picture is. Each aborted attempt at rousing a giggle comes down to someone doing or saying something anachronistic in the hope that merely juxtaposing an old thing with a new thing is funny in and of itself. When it isn't content to just drag its ass along the carpet while historical caricatures belt 4-letter words at low-hanging fruit, it falls back on the kind of slack, irony-infected bigotry that is indistinguishable from actual racism.
Why do you keep calling me Mr. Smith?
Well, Revere called you Blacksmith.
Right, because I'm a blacksmith.
Right, a blacksmith.
A blacksmith.
Blacksmith.
Do you get it? They aren't white. I'm gonna save you all some time and just play the one decent joke in this otherwise indigestible broth of crap.
Bravo! Did you practice that line in the car on your way here?
What the fuck is a car?
There, I just saved you 90 minutes that you can now spend reading about some other atrocities perpetrated in the name of America.
Easy peasy, Japanesey.
Sorry, sir. We're not allowed to say that anymore. It's lemon squeezy now.
Yeah, but
I think it's fine if he's Japanesey.
Army of the Dead had everything going for it. A hefty budget, a novel premise, waves of undead, the best opening credits of the year, and a director finally cut free of the studio constraints that have plagued his recent career. So why does almost none of it work? This is a jack-of-all-trades, master-of-none situation. The horror is toothless, the action's unintelligible, and the heist at the heart of the damn thing has all the flair and finesse of a teen boy fumbling with a bra strap. Add to that the fact that the whole thing is shot with such a shallow depth of field it looks like someone dipped the lens in lard, and what you're left with is a joyless, juddering mess.
What, do you think she's unconscious?
There are no such thing as unconscious people anymore.
What if everyone on Earth lost the ability to fall asleep? That's the question Awake goes to great pains to completely waste in a turgid road trip of comatose characterization and snoozing stupidity. There's no gradual unraveling to the psychological exhaustion here. After literally 1 day without nap time, the entire world falls apart. Yup, just because he didn't get his 8 hours last night, the local sheriff starts demanding human sacrifices and shoots up a church, while everyone else goes murder mad and starts ranting like a barrel of loons. It's the kind of high concept horrible execution that makes you look at M. Night Shyamalan a little more fondly, which is more damning than anything I can say.
I got this knife. I got this knife.
The Halloween series works best when it's lean, brutish, and economical with its tension and terror, with Michael Myers as a force of nature that can be neither tamed nor explained. A few of the original films knew it, and, to a degree, the 2018 franchise do-over knew it as well. Halloween Kills says screw that and opts instead for an overlong, scare-free supercut of faceless locals repeatedly exclaiming, "Michael Myers is a bad man who kills people. He killed people 40 years ago. Now he's killing people again. We should really put a stop to him on account of him killing all those people." And then they all just die in the goofiest, least intimidating way possible, as franchise favourite Jamie Lee Curtis lays in bed and flirts with a cop. The end. P.S. It was nice to see Jim Cummings in the prologue.
Hey? I just wanted to say thank you for this morning. My butt is so sore. I could barely walk. Things got messy.
In theory, a gender-swapped remake of She's All That with less sexism and some added Zoomer energy isn't a bad idea. The original may be a cheesy teen movie staple, but it's in no way sacred, which makes the sheer laziness of this regressive retread all the more galling. Our relatable lead character is an aspiring Instagram influencer, as portrayed by a real-life TikTok star, who earns more money than her overworked, underpaid nurse mother. And this is pitched by the filmmakers as something aspirational rather than nauseatingly wrong. I mean, this is grosser than Not Another Teen Movie, and that was a politically incorrect parody of just how rotten this concept is. He's All That is morally putrid, superficially plastic, and absent even the faintest reason to exist. Beyond a blink and you'll miss it chance for Matthew Lillard to remind everyone just how great Matthew Lillard is in absolutely everything.
Do you believe in spirits?
What kind of a question is that? That brown stuff pays your wages.
I mean, do you believe in ghosts?
The once proud king of alternative British comedy has collapsed into an over-edited quagmire of wrong-headed quirkiness. It's The Shining as remixed by the man behind the unapologetically sexist Scott Pilgrim. Last Night in Soho wants to decry misogyny whilst characterising all its women as venomous airheads or naive waifs. And it tries to empathise with sex workers by painting a wildly irresponsible portrait of how wretched and amoral a profession they believe it to be. Oh, and because Wright is a junkie for aesthetics, even scenes of sexual assault are shot like he's trying to make them look obnoxiously cool. Expect a detailed video on just how much I disliked this in the future.
None of this shit is necessary. Movement, blocking, lighting, fucking digital versus film. This cut here, that cut here, let's pan, two shot. None of this shit matters. It's all about what you want.
Malcolm and Marie are two awful human beings screaming their most vitriolic, overwrought opinions about the nature of film criticism at one another for 2 hours.
I am genuinely sorry.
Fuck
I
you,
get
Malcolm.
it now. All right,
Fuck
so
you.
because you're this fucking bobblehead, can you tell me that? Fucking Karen! Ah!
A histrionic argument searching for relevance and finding only writer-director Sam Levinson's entitlement, ego, and score-settling gripes. This monochromatic hovel of toxic one-upmanship serves one purpose: to cast John David Washington and Zendaya as mouthpieces for Levinson's white milquetoast hipster aggrandizing, so he can moan about people failing to recognize his genius, or moan about people saying he's a genius for the wrong reasons. If you're anything like me, you'll spend the duration just wishing everyone would shut the hell up and go to bed.
I guess a good place to start is the simple question, why in the world would I want to make a documentary about myself? And I think that's a pretty legitimate question.
What starts with Moby mansplaining existentialism soon transitions into puppet shows, fake therapy sessions, and the kind of pretentious art school indulgence you'd expect from this slap-headed millhouse. As a documentary, it fails to illuminate or intrigue. As an autobiographical experiment, it falls flat. And everything else is just the generic kind of money doesn't buy happiness condescension you'll only ever hear from the impossibly rich. If the titular pun of this self-important masturbatory slideshow from a Natalie Portman bothering sex weirdo isn't enough to put you off, I can only hope this little review will.
What are you trying? You're trying to tell me something? Okay, 2 syllables. 1 word. Is it a movie?
In a year where the WB seemed content to feast on the carcass of its stagnant empire of intellectual property, it speaks volumes that Tom and Jerry is only the second worst blend of live action and blood-in-your-piss animation they put out over the last 12 months. Tom and Jerry play timid support in their own movie to Chloe Grace Moretz's cold, uncaring psychopath. A protagonist that feels like someone accidentally wrote Patrick Bateman into a kid-friendly romp. It's such acrid, unpalatable filth that the duo's much-maligned 1992 cinematic outing looks like a Studio Ghibli masterwork when compared to this skunk spray of miscalculated stench. Those were our honourable and dishonourable mentions of 2021. Tune in next time for entries 10 through 6 of our best films of the year. A shout out to our Patreon producers Jennifer C, Claire MD, BECCHIO and Nicholas LARIVIERE, and all the love in the world to these amazing folks who support us over on Patreon. Why not let us know your favourite and least favourite films of the year down in the comments, along with whether or not you agree with this list, and make sure you leave us a message down below, click the like button and share this video wherever you can. It really helps us out a lot. If you're in a position to do so, consider checking out our Patreon where you can get a membership to the In Frame Out Film Club, your name in the credits, and access to our private Discord. As always, thank you for watching. Until next time, this is In Frame Out.